Well, welcome back to the channel. We are on part 2 of our water install piece. As I said, this is a 2-part system. So we've got the outside part of the system, which is the well pump and the cistern, and that whole system we just got done setting up. So the well will pump water into the cistern, but now we need a way to get the water from the cistern into the house and into pressure in the lines that we have throughout the house. I'm doing a lot of this work up here simply because it's a lot easier to work up here than do it underneath the house. My plan is to do as much work up here as I can, and then I will take everything down and do final assembly underneath the house, and then that way we can have water to the house. So it's a huge project. And we'll see what we have here. But as you can see behind me, this is the 3/4 horsepower jet pump that will be underneath the house that will pull water from the cistern and deliver it to the pressure tank. And we'll probably head out to the garage, and I'll do a little bit more of an explanation on the whiteboard so we have that available. Well, rather than go out to the garage where it's dark, I decided to do it on a little scratchy whiteboard. You can tell by my Wile E. Coyote level drawing and the detailed accuracy that I have here, what exactly we're going to be doing. But just to give you an idea, the water is outside in the cistern. It flows in through a 1-inch polyurethane pipe underneath the house. That's already been here. That's been here since we dug the foundation. So what I need to do is then run 1-inch line to the jet pump and convert it from polyurethane to PVC. And then it'll go from the jet pump by 1-inch PVC to the pressure tank, which we've got the 20-gallon pressure tank, and then it will connect all that to our outgoing line to the house, which supplies all of the water within the house. So just kind of a rudimentary drawing of what's involved. With the pressure tank itself, we have to do some parts to that. We have a T-valve that we have to put in there, pressure switch, and a bunch of other components to this that are part of connecting the pressure switch from this to the pressure switch that is in the jet pump. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Like I said, the first thing we have to do is with this motor, it comes set at factory at 230 volts, and we need to change it to a 120. So let's get busy with that, and then we'll start working on our other components. Well, it's pretty simple with this thing. This right here is our internal, or the pressure switch, and the electrical hookup for the motor itself. So we'll be hooking from the pressure switch that we're going to put in later on the T-valve and the water well tank pressure tank. We'll be putting a regulator on, or a pressure switch on that will then connect into this and power this, and also tell it when to shut off and when to pump. But what we need to do with this right now is change this over from the 230 volt settings that it's currently set at factory wise, and we're going to move it to 120, which is pretty simple. There's a little switch right here inside the box, and we're going to move it from 230 to 115. So now this is all set. We'll screw it all together, and then we'll start working on our other components that we need to. All right, so the part that we're going to put together, this is for the pressure tank. This is a T-valve. On it, we're going to put our pressure gauge goes on there, our pressure switch goes on there, and then we're going to do a faucet and a pressure relief valve on here. So we'll get this thing assembled. We'll do this up here before we go, and we'll install it underneath the pressure tank once we get it underneath the house. So the first thing we're putting on is our pressure gauge, or actually I'll put the pressure switch on first since it's a little bit bigger and it has to go on there. I've already got the Teflon tape on it, so we'll get that. This is the pressure switch for it. This will connect from here to the jet pump underneath the house to regulate the pressure from the pressure tank. All right, now that we got our pressure switch on, we'll put our pressure gauge on there. Okay, so we've got that setup already done, and then we've got our faucet we have to drain this, and then our pressure relief valve. This is our faucet for it. I actually got to get a little different one. This is a 3/4 inch, and I need a 1/2 inch one. But we also have our pressure relief valve, which is right here. And this one will go on the front right here. So we'll get that attached as well. Okay, and again, we'll put the faucet on when we get down below, but this is ready. We just have to, and I've got it set up right now. I've got 1-inch female adapters on each end, and this will connect to our 1-inch pipe as we start piping things together underneath the house. Well, as you can see, we're back underneath the house. I had to build a small platform just to keep, I want to keep all the equipment off just in case we have another rise at the water table. This house has had a history of it, so I don't trust it. So I built this up, way up, so we don't have any flooding issues. So we'll get our pressure tank up here and our pump up here and start kind of positioning things where we're at, and then we'll figure out where we got to run pipe. As you can see, way in the background is the poly pipe coming in from the cistern. We're going to tee off of that, and then we're going to run it all the way down till we connect into 1-inch PVC. So the next thing I have to do is I've got this 1-inch poly pipe. This is stuff that runs from the well all the way into the house. I need to extend it from where it was cut off when we did our initial plumbing and bring it all the way here to the utility room underneath the house. I need 40 feet of this stuff. It is difficult to work with because it's cold still, and the stuff does not flex very easy. So I'm going to work on straightening this out. Once I get it all straightened out, we'll get back underneath the house and start hooking some of this stuff up, because we got to move again this 1-inch poly. We'll then transition into 1-inch PVC. All right, so the next thing we got to put in is it's a water shutoff valve. I'm going to put this in, and then we're going to go down a little bit further, and we'll start switching into we'll do our transition into PVC. But I want to get this in here while we've got the PEX, or the 1-inch, or 1-inch mainline polyethylene line in. All right, we got our shutoff valve in there, and so we're set there. And now we'll continue on with our plumbing to the to the jet pump. All right, the next thing we got to put in, I already got the bracket set up. We got to put in our filter, and this is hopefully, maybe. Okay, we'll secure this a little bit better, but we're going to transition now from the polyethylene to PVC into the filter, PVC out of the filter. Then we're going to put in our flow control valve and then plumb to the pump. So we're getting closer. We're going to secure this to where it doesn't swing around, but we got our water filter in. I may add additional filtration pieces as we go along just to see. We'll see what the water quality looks like, but I'll start with this one for now, and then we'll go from there. All right. So the next piece we have to add. This is a 1-inch slip ring or slip end, and this is the 1-inch PVC. This is going to connect our main line here from the cistern. This will be the connection that brings the PVC all the way to the pipe. So we'll get this installed now. And we got to heat this pipe up again. Heating it up just makes it easier to deal with as far as slipping this stuff in. All right. Okay. All right, now we'll secure that bad boy. All right, so then we got that. So what I'll do now is I'll figure out my transition piece from the PVC from here at the filter. I've got to run the PVC, but I also need to put in a priming tee somewhere in here to be able to prime the pump. So we'll get that installed. Is the priming tee next, and then the rest of the 1-inch PVC. And as you can see here, I manufactured my own priming tee. It's a 1-inch tee with with a clean out fitting. That should create our thing. I need two of these, one before the pump and then one to prime the pump on the other end of there's a one-way valve there that'll be there, so we'll have to put that in. All right, there you go, from our shut-off switch to the priming tee to 1-inch PVC to the filter. And then now we'll go to the other side and we'll do our connection. We'll do our connection at the from the 1-inch to the 3/4 inch on that side. And with that, what we're going to be doing is this junction here. We're going to do PEX to this to 1 inch. And then there is a slip ring that goes, we'll reduce this down. So we'll go head over there and get that done. All right, what we're doing is we're taking this PEX 3/4 inch slip ring. And we're going to put this on there. So we'll try and slip it in this way. Okay, well, we got it. So then we put our crimp on there. We got a PEX crimping tool we borrowed from the hardware store. And just like that, we've got our PEX 1 inch or 3/4 inch to 1 inch. And then we'll just do our connecting pipe there and we'll be good to go. All right, now we'll put in our final connecting piece from the pressure tank to the house lines. We'll get that in. That doesn't give me very much, does it? All right, well, I got managed to get everything working underneath this house is kind of tough. Plus, one of my batteries died, so I'm having to switch between the light and the tools to keep going. But I managed to get the connection from the T valve from the pressure tank all the way tapped into the jet pump. So this connection is done. The last connection we have is from the water filter to the jet pump, and that's what we'll get knocked out here in a minute. In the middle of that is going to be this flow control valve, which will go right in here, and then we'll also have another T that we're going to have to do for priming the pump. So we'll add that in as well. So I'll do some calculations on that, and then we'll get that put together. All right, so on there's an arrow on this check valve because we need the water to flow this way towards the pump. So we'll get that side installed first. All right, now we just need to connect the rest of the pipe to the pump. So we'll have to get a measurement here and see what we've got. All right, there we have it. We've got our line from the cistern coming in, emergency water shutoff valve. We got the water filter. We've got the check valve here. Comes into the jet pump. It comes up and across. We've got our T to do our priming, and then it goes from there. It goes into the T for the pressure tank, and then onto the house. So that's a huge project to get this done. We're not completed yet. We still have to run the electrical to the pressure switch there, and then from the pressure switch to the pump. So the electrical is the next bit, so we'll get on that here next. But I'm going to call it a day today. It's been a long day, but I got all this done. I'm pretty excited about it, and we'll get on the electrical next. Well, now we're working underneath the house. We've got the pressure tank and the pump on the stand where we want it. Now it's time for us to install our fully assembled T-valve. Again, like I said, I got a pressure dial here gauged. I got the pressure relief valve. I have the timer switch here, the pressure switch, And then I've got the faucet, so 1/2-inch faucet, in case we have to actually drain the system. And then 1-inch pipe on female on either end. So we'll get this one installed here. A lot of our work is going to be down here for right now, so we'll see. We'll try and do a little bit above, below and above. All right, we got that installed. Now we'll start moving we'll start doing our plumbing between our pump and the T switch here, or T valve. So our next step in this, now that we've got the power wired, we have 2 steps left before we can fire this system up and see if it puts pressure into the house, and then we've got to check lines. But I've got to pressurize the tank and check the pressure in that, and then I have to go ahead and open these up and then prime the tank, or prime the lines, so we can run the pump. So we're getting closer. We'll do this next. We'll pressurize this thing next. All right, so I'll see if I can do this justice. So underneath the cap of each one, there's a pressure switch here on the pump. There's a pressure switch on the tank. On this pressure switch, it's factory settings. The cut on that turns on the pump is at 30 to up to 50, and then it shuts off. This one is set to 40 to 60. And the pressure in the tank right now is about 35. So what I have to do is I have to set all the set this one to 30, get this one to 38, this one to 38. And then I should be all right with the tank here. Once I get these adjusted, then we'll be on that step there. But we're getting closer. We just have to get everything pretty synced up here. Well, we're getting closer on our pump. We've got to work on this. It's a little hard to see here, but on the pressure switch part of the pump, we've got load 1 and load 2, and those will connect here. And then this wire will connect up to the pressure switch right here. We've got power on load 1, load 2 on the outside, and then to the motor on the inside here. So we'll get those hooked up, and then we'll get moving here. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all hooked up. All right, well, we've got our 120 connected up from the breaker box into the pressure switch for the motor. And then on here, earlier I had another pressure switch on here. Through some further research, I realized I only needed the one on the motor. And so that's set. This is set at a pressure of 32. And this one is set to a pressure of the same 32. So we should be good to go there. Next up, we're going to have to do, there's some great videos on adjusting the pump or the pressure switch out there on the YouTube already, so I'm not going to go through it. But we've got that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to prime our lines, and then we'll fire it up and see what happens, see if we've got any leaks. All right, well, now we're going to prime the pump, and we'll see. We'll give it a test and see what the hell happens. I don't know. Fingers crossed, I guess. Well, this thing's a lot more thirsty than I thought it was. Okay, well, how much do you have to put in there? I don't know. Okay, that's full. Okay, we'll get the lid on here. Let's put a little Teflon tape just to be on the safe side. Got my handy dandy assistant upstairs ready with the breaker, and that way if we gotta shut it off quickly, she can do that while I'm down here. Okay. Well, okay. Are we ready?
I'm going to turn this off.
You're going to turn it on?
On, sorry. Let me know.
Okay, go ahead and try it.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and turn it off. We'll check it and see, because I think it's got to pull from the other end of the line. I don't know what it's got here, so we'll see. Oh, no, I took out the pressure. Damn it. My bad on that one. Alright, so we're gaining water pressure, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll let it watch for a minute and see what it does here. It's filling up the pressure tank, and then we'll turn on the lines to the house and see what we get. Alright, before we start working down in that tank, it's really hard to do, so I'm going to do a lot of work up here. I'm going to try and explain something. So this was the half horsepower jet pump that I had underneath the house, and it is only good for about 25 to 30 feet of pull, and it pulls in through here, suction through here, and then out through here into the house. We weren't getting enough pressure with that because it's too great a distance. It's 80 feet from the cistern to the house, so we had to junk this one, go back to the drawing board and do some more research, and we came up with the fact that we're going to put in a half horsepower submersible pump. This is a Wasserman deep well submersible pump, and I'll kind of explain what I'm doing here. So I'm using one inch line as we're going here. So this is outfitted for 1 1/4 inch. So I have 1 1/4 inch adapter for here down to 1 inch. And then I'll come across and down, and then at the bottom of the cistern, there's a 2-inch brass female. So I'm using a 2-inch male to a 1-inch, and then to my extender pipe, and then up. So then this will come out of the cistern. This will come up, over, and then down into here. And once we get it all installed and down in there, I'll show you what it looks like. But it's no way I can get a tripod or anything in there while I'm working. So I'll outfit everything here, and then we'll get it set up in there, and we'll talk a little bit more about it once it's in. So in order to get the well pump into that cistern, first we have to trench the line from the house out to the cistern. That's for our electrical. We're going to run 10-2 wire from the we'll put back in the pressure switch into the pressure tank, and then run from there all the way to the opening right there of the cistern. The other thing I have to do is I have to get in the cistern to actually attach the pump and do that. So we're going to finish digging here, and then we'll get our electrical conduit in and buried, and then we'll go from there as far as our next steps and what we got to do to get the well up. All right, well, we have our trench all dug, and now we need to get our pipe that's right there and get our pipe in, and then we'll finish securing this. And I want to get the pipe in first, because I still got to return that tractor before they charge me some more. So we got our main digging. I'm going to get the pipe in, and we'll backfill, and then we'll be done with that. One thing I can tell you I've learned over time here building this house is when it comes to electrical, is to use a larger size pipe. Like this is an 1 1/4 inch pipe for the single line, and I'm running the pull string as I'm gluing everything together. It just makes it a hell of a lot simpler to have the pull string already in there and ready to go when I'm ready to pull wire. So just a do-it-yourself tip on this one, that when you're doing wire, go a couple sizes larger than the wire, just to make sure you get an even pull. Because even if you've got somebody feeding the line, it's still going to kind of twist and roll in the pipe, and that makes a big time saver. And then also put your pull line in as you're doing it. All right, well, we've got our pipe in. Now we just got to backfill it. So I'll get this done, and then we're on to our next bit of business here. But we're making closer. I'm pretty happy. Oh, shit. I don't need this whole fucking ladder. fucking ladder. Oh, you're shitting me. All right, there we go. Sorry about the echo, but it's what's happening inside the chamber. Anyway, there's our total setup. So now we'll start working on electrical. So we have some connections under there to do and some rework, and then we'll be ready to test this bad boy and see if everything worked out. All right, well, we've got everything hooked back up on our pressure switch. Now, I'll see if we move in here so you can see it. So we got the lines to the motor and then the lines from the power on the outside. We're about to fire this thing up and see if what we get. So let me turn that light. That way it's not as bright. Oh, we're gonna see here. All right, flick the switch.
Okay.
I hear water. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Turn it off. All right. Well, as you can see, we've got water pressure and we've got water flowing. That's a pretty huge deal. Now that we've got that submersible pump in there, that's working out pretty well. So we got a couple of things we got to tighten up, but aside from that, I think we're doing pretty good. We'll head upstairs and test the faucets here in a minute. Once we check to see, I want it to hit 60 and turn off. And then once I do, then we'll go up to the stairs and see if we've got water pressure in the house. Well, as you can see, we've got our water running. It's pretty steady and I'm happy with it. That's huge to have that going. That's been a huge project. Like again, we started with the jet pump. That system didn't work for our cistern, but we went with a submersible pump and that seems to have done the trick. So I'm pretty excited. That's a massive project. One of 3 major systems off the board. You know, we've got our septic done, we've got our power in, and now we have water. So now we can start moving in and getting things where we want them to go. So that's huge, that's massive. Anyway, if you like this type of thing, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. And thanks for watching.